This is the L'Or Barista Sublime Espresso machine by Philips. I've had this now for a little over 9 months, and if you are thinking about buying this machine, I'm about to tell you the 5 things that I really like about the machine and the 5 things I really don't. So let's start off with the positives and the things that I love about this machine. In at number 1, the machine is designed for the standard coffee pod. Espresso started off making pods, and then everybody else jumped on and started making the same pods as Nespresso. So Nespresso changed and went down the Virtua path, but this uses the standard Nespresso style pod, the original pod, which is pretty much the industry standard now. So you can go into supermarkets and you will find so much variety. You can find it all online as well. So it's really great if you want a large variety of coffee from different brands. And this machine does pour the extra large shots as well. So you can buy the double-sized espresso pods and it will give you 2 shots of coffee at the same time, or a double espresso if you want to just make a singular drink. Number 2 is you get this quite large water tank at the back, which says 800 ml. It's the capacity that you probably can get just a little bit more in. And you also get the little drawer in front where your coffee pods fall down once you're replacing the pod. Because of this, it means you're not having to constantly refill the machine or constantly re-empty the machine. That will store about 10 pods or maybe 6 of the extra large ones, and you get a good amount of espressos out of a full water tank. So it's not something you constantly have to restock, which I love. And number 3, there is 3 types of coffees you can pour. You can have a ristretto, you can have an espresso, or you can have a lungo. It will pour all 3 different drinks at the press of a button. If you stick in the extra large pods, it automatically reads the extra large pod as well, which means it will automatically pour you a double espresso, double ristretto, or a double lungo. If you're not really too sure what they mean, basically a ristretto is like a short, restricted espresso. Espresso is an espresso, and then you've got the lungo, which means long, and it's a drawn out long espresso as well. So that will be used for more like if you just want like a black coffee and stuff. I quite like a lungo myself. In at number 4 is it makes really good espresso. I have used a variety of different espresso pods for this machine. I have used some really expensive ones and I've used some really cheap ones to see what results you could get, and it still produced great quality espresso. You can actually check out that video at the end of this video if you want, but it produces good, consistent quality espresso every single time. In at number 5 is it's affordable. I actually paid about £59 for the machine, which is really good value because that came with 150 coffee pods. So you got so much free coffee and the machine for £59. I actually brought 2. I brought 1 for the home and 1 for the office. It was that good value. So it's great, affordable, consistent espresso machine, and it's something definitely worth considering if you want to go down the path of a pod coffee machine. And the bonus slide, I also get to do this every time I want a coffee. Now the positives out of the way, let's talk about the things that make me go meh. So number 1 is it's too long. It's 40 centimeters in length, which when you've got the water tank on the back, it feels like it's unnecessary. Maybe if you could have an option where you could swivel that round to the front, or it was just already built in at the side, it might be a little bit better, but it does take up a lot of counter space. It is narrow, which is a positive, but that length just means it does take up a large amount of the counter. Number 2 is you can't adjust the temperature of the drink. Now you can adjust the amount of water going into your coffee, but you can't actually adjust the temperature of that water. So the espresso is a drinkable temperature, but if you wanted a lungo where you can sit there and cozy up with a coffee, you can't really do that with this machine. It's hot, but it doesn't stay hot for long. It's kind of served, it's pretty much a drinkable temperature. Number 3 is the height of the machine. Now at the minute, that's not too bad. That is around 28 centimeters high, and it'll fit under most counters or most cupboards without any issue. But to put the pod in, you need to lift the lever. And when you lift that, you've literally just added on like an extra 10-15 centimeters on top. And I actually had this under a cupboard at one point, and I had to move it because every time I lifted it up, it just hit the top of the cupboard, which means I couldn't put in a new pod. That's got to be all the way up to get your new pod in. Like, maybe a better loading mechanism, or does it really need to be that high? Number 4 is it gets quite dirty quite easily. I've got some stainage on the side, you got fingerprints kind of all over it. I don't know whether that's just kind of the style I've ordered, but it does get dirty very quickly, and it is a little bit difficult to keep clean because I've tried to scrub this and it's not coming off. I don't know what it is that's caused it, but it is a bit annoying. And number 5 is there is no preheat setting on this machine. Now, other espresso machines out there, you can switch on and it'll warm the machine up, and then when you're ready, you can press it to pour your drink. With this, the minute you press one of these buttons to warm up the machine, once the machine is warm, it will then pour your drink. And if you've not got your cup out ready, you're gonna get caught out. And yes, I have made that mistake before. But all in all, as I mentioned before, it's a very affordable machine. I paid £59 for it, and that included 150 coffee pods. Now, if you want to take your coffee to the next level and you want to start making cappuccinos and lattes and flat whites, and then you're going to need a milk frother. So check out this video where I tell you all about the frother that I use to make my milky drinks.